Philip, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being patient and waiting for me. Zoom was being really... I could not get in to my own account. It just wouldn't load. But anyway, I'm here now. So I appreciate you waiting. How are you all? I hope that's fantastic. And as you know, I run these classes or group gatherings once a week this time. It's either me and or one of our other fabulous Positive Prime professionals. This is your chance to have your ideas, concerns, worries, issues addressed. What do we mean by that? Most people who use Positive Prime are usually folks who have been involved in personal development or self-improvement. They're people who want change. That's probably the bottom line. They want to change some aspect of their life, either their bank account or their relationship status, or the amount of rich and fruitful and delicious experiences within a relationship, or they want a promotion, they want to change, they want something to change financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Maybe they don't want to keep giving themselves so much grief. Maybe they want to forgive themselves over something that they did a long time ago that still haunts them or disrupts or distracts. So Positive Prime is really a gathering of people who are committed to changing. So they've made the decision that they want to change, they'd like to change. And they use Positive Prime as a tool to facilitate that change so that it's more rapid, it's more graceful, and it's more effective and sustainable. Now, why would I say that? Well, interestingly enough, there's lots of research that has been done in the fields of positive psychology and neuroscience in the area or the industry that we call the human potential movement. And most of what we've integrated into a Positive Prime session is a formula that applies clinically evaluated techniques in a way that allows us to implement and move beyond intellectualizing into doing. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, well, the reality is that I would go and listen to great speakers at seminars or retreats or workshops. I was learning so that I could apply what I learned so that I could change something, improve something, develop in some area, further or advance some of my strengths, my gifts, my talents, my skills, etc. Right? So we're all on the same page here. Yep, excellent. So the Positive Prime formula has actually been set up so that the content within a session, you can actually receive, you can absorb it, and it goes into your other than consciousness, which is beyond just your conscious. It's beyond actually even your subconscious mind. It's your super consciousness and your other than consciousness, which is kind of like the vibration in the quantum field. It's the way that your thinking impacts your environment and how everybody else's thinking impacts their environment and you too. So let's just have this phrase that we would call the other than consciousness. So what Positive Prime does is it delivers to you, the viewer, or to me, the essence or the key messages, the summaries of the most important aspects of advice, suggestions, recommendations, counseling, coaching, guidance, mentoring, and so forth. See, what had happened was I'd gone and done all of this Anthony Robbins work. I'd gone to Date with Destiny. I'd gone to Unleash the Power Within. And what I found was I was the kind of person who would fall short on applying that which I knew. But because I was also involved as a change management consultant in the corporate world, in the field of mergers and acquisitions, large organizations usually smashing or crashing together, and these implementation programs that were around integration, lots of fancy jargon in the corporate world. But change management was really about how do you get people to accept a new reality. Because part of the process is actually defining for yourself a new reality and then accepting it. And in the process, we as human beings usually get angry. Now, that is a reptilian response. That's a response from your ancient way that your brainstem has been created. I saw this the other day on a little Facebook reel, something about cognitive dissonance. So I just want you to try this. Can you all do something for me, and that's cross your arms? Just cross your arms. Go on, cross your arms. Go on, cross your arms. Cross your arms. Close your eyes. Put your arms out in the air like a V, and then just, naturally just cross your arms. Right? Now cross your arms. Excellent. All righty. Look down, and I want you to notice which of your forearms is on top. Is it your left or your right? Which of your forearms is on the left or the right? Which is on the top? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is actually put the other arm on top, link in, and I want you to do it the opposite way. And I want you to tell me whether that feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form. Does it? Does it feel a bit weird? It's different. Now, we as human beings, we actually recognize and we pay attention to that which is different. We actually resist it. We go back to what is comfortable and familiar. That's change. Other people do this exercise like this. See, take your hands like this. Woo! And now I want you to put them together like this, and I want you to put your thumb on top. Which thumb's on top? Left or right? Which thumb's on top? All right. Now change it. Does that feel even a bit more weird? A bit more like, oh, keep it there. I want you to see how long you can keep it there. That will tell you how comfortable you are with change. Arms were weirder. Great, great comment. Thanks, Jackie. All righty. So some people call that cognitive dissonance. We actually reject or resist that which we don't feel familiar or comfortable with. So what does positive prime do? What does positive prime do? Positive prime makes the new, refreshing, and different more familiar to you, so there is less cognitive dissonance. Do you want to know how? Do you want to know why? Yeah? All righty. So let me just do a little quick screen share for you, because I think that you'll get this, right? Hands are worse, Edwina. That's very good of you. Hands were actually worse for me. Do you know, I learned, of course, that thing about crossing your arms a long time ago. So guess what I've trained myself to do over the years? And that is actually switch it up every now and again. Actually switch it up. Force myself to physically switch it up. Do you know, as an aside, I'm left-handed. That might tell you something. That makes me brilliant. Of course it does. But I'm left-handed, and I have a cardiac pacemaker in my chest. As some of you may know, if you've been in this community for quite a while, you know that I had 6 near-death experiences where my heart completely flatlined. I was completely unconscious. I had some very, very, very disruptive, damaging falls, really hurt myself. And now I have a cardiac pacemaker and I'm perfect. And there was nothing wrong with my heart. They put me in a cardiac MRI machine. They knew that there was nothing wrong with my heart. I have some very weird, strange, unique, oh yes, I'm very special, unique autonomic nervous system disorder that is neurological in nature. And there's a gazillion other things that are consequences and implications that I live with, but that's okay because I positively prime myself. Anyway, the funny thing is that my cardiac pacemaker is in my left side and I'm left-handed. And so it's a permanent disability. I love playing golf and I loved playing tennis, but they're all past tense because I can now no longer do either one of those 2 things, or indeed lots of other things. But when I had my pacemaker surgery about 2 years ago, me using my right hand to brush my teeth, or my right hand to try and do things, or my right hand to actually pour myself a cup of tea, because of course, you know, you're not allowed to use this while the leads are anchoring into your heart muscle, which is a altogether weird concept for you to come to terms with. Anyway, so I actually was kind of forced to really appreciate how left dominant I am. And over the last 2 years, I have honestly tried to just do a few more things like butter my bread or cut something with my right hand. And I've got to tell you, I'm relatively useless, but I know it's good brain training actually. So anyway, let's go back to these featured sessions. How do we reduce cognitive dissonance? Well, this is a brand new session. I absolutely love it. Do you know, I often talk about this. All of us have forgiveness work to do. If you are alive on this planet and you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s, you have forgiveness work to do. It's true. How do we familiarize? How do we actually reduce cognitive dissonance? Guess what we do? We personalize sessions. See, when you see a photograph, by the way, this is me. Don't I look fabulous? This was me last weekend. I went to a lovely event. This is my beautiful auntie. I took her some flowers. I went to visit her. I went and stayed at somewhere really lovely. Oh, I love flowers. Actually, I love buying them for them myself. I just read this biography by Ronnie Calm. It's fantastic. She actually started an organization called Ozfest. This is a bracelet that somebody purchased for me and gave me as a gift. And it reminds me that I'm gifted. No, that I am precious enough to be given gifts. And what does that put out into the quantum field? That I deserve more gifts. This is a photograph of my pussycat. This is a photograph of where I'm going on vacation very soon with my niece in Bali. This is my gorgeous Cameron, and this is us together. Okay, so you get the idea, meaningful and significant. I could upload further photographs, and now I play the session. So guess what happens when I play this session? The formula positively primes us. Let me just turn the music off here, and I go full screen if I want to, and I go faster. The faster I go, the less I can resist or reject the information. But every single time my other than consciousness sees one of my own photographs, guess what happens? Emotional contagion, a bridge or a link, a neural network is created from me and my identity with this content, right? Did you hear that? It's genius, isn't it? I know. I invented it. Gosh, that sounds arrogant, doesn't it? You're all supposed to laugh. I was trying to be funny. I literally was gifted with the insights to create positive prime from my connection to the divine. No, I do not believe that I am smarter than you. I believe that God chose me because I'm tenacious, because he knew I wouldn't give up on creating this platform for you and the world. And interestingly enough, the resources were put in my path. I met the people who actually taught me what was going to be necessary to make sure that this particular intervention works in terms of brain dynamics, right? So when we see images of Duchenne smiles, that's genuine, sincere, real smiles, in eye tracking research, we've just completed, guess what your brain searches for? Your brain searches for survival reasons. Who's going to help you in the tribe? And you know how you identify them? By their warm, genuine smiles, by their smiles. If their smiles are just wholesome and good and make you feel like you can trust them and like them, you literally sought your entire environment for people who can support your survival. You look for Duchenne smiles. And it literally allows you to be in a state. We call this a positively primed state. And as Jackie Simmons will tell you, because she's in the audience, the brain on positive, as my friend Sean Acor says, makes you at least 34% more productive. It helps you to perform at high levels. It actually reduces your stress. All of this is scientifically validated, by the way. But interestingly enough, positive prime literally integrates a lot of these concepts and brings them to life for you in something that works within 3 minutes. All you have to do is press play every day, preferably at the beginning of the day, and you positively prime your brain for up to 6 to 8 hours. And in a positively primed state of beingness, you are more solutions orientated. But if you want to address an area where you are stuck and you want dramatic, transformative change to happen in your life, you need to actually reduce the cognitive dissonance in your life, which means you must personalize your positive prime sessions. It's not enough for you to consume new content. You will resist it and you will reject it unless you familiarize yourself with it. And the easiest, most graceful way for you to do that is to personalize the positive prime sessions. And in an absolutely wild and wonderful way, your brain allows you to absorb the new content. It allows it in, and it literally then helps to mold your identity, right? So our identity means that we will not do, because of cognitive dissonance, that which makes us feel uncomfortable. So let's just say your identity says, I don't forgive. Those nasty, awful, terrible, blah, 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 blah. You can use as many colorful expletive words as you use. They wronged me, blah, 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 blah. Let's just say you don't have as part of your identity that you forgive everyone all the time. Some acts are beyond forgiveness. That might be a core belief of yours. Some people might actually do something that is so atrocious, it's not worthy of being forgived or forgiven. Right? I know that this is an issue for a lot of us in this day and age. So inside a positive prime session, when you have your account, of course, your name appears. Guess what? That means that we are overriding your natural propensity not to upload enough personal photographs. So we're going to get just a little bit of personalizing in by you seeing your own name. Right? That happens automatically to everybody who has an account, who put their name in. That's why your name shows up. Your name shows up to reduce cognitive dissonance so that there's cognitive resonance. The greater the cognitive resonance, the more easily you will accept new information that will help you to make dramatic change in an area where you're really stuck. So you might be stuck in forgiveness, the issue of forgiveness, right? So upload photographs. There are 1,000 images or frames or slides in each positive prime session. Why? Because we need to flood you. You need to be flooded. You need to be overwhelmed by this information. It's an act of visual hypnosis and NLP combined and so forth. I need hours to explain to you the actual building blocks of a positive prime session, but you need a lot of images because you think, by the way, in 50,000 thoughts a day on average, some people 80,000 thoughts a day, right? And 80% of your thoughts are similar to what they were yesterday, the day before, last week, last month. And so in order for you to actually, and I talk a lot about this with the pink food dye in a swimming pool, if you're actually an iceberg and you're bobbing around in a swimming pool, everybody knows that your subconscious mind is the bit that's underneath the waterline. It's the bottom part of the iceberg, and the bit at the top is just a tiny little bit at the peak. Well, interestingly enough, it's actually not about the iceberg. It's not about your subconscious either. It's actually about the swimming pool. It's about the ocean in which the iceberg's bobbing around. And if you pour a lot of pink food dye into the water, of course, it'll change the color of the iceberg, right? So that's kind of how it happens. So we need to flood you so that you have 11 million bits of information coming at you per second, and you can actually only attenuate to about 40 bits of information based upon your reticular activating system. And your RAS is actually conditioned or programmed based upon what you've decided is important to you. So here's a classic thing. If you have self-talk that says, I wish I wasn't overweight, oh, I'm a little bit too fat, oh, I'd like to lose weight, what do you think is happening in your vibration? Wait, 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 wait. More weight, wait. You will naturally have your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that actually sorts out the rest of the world for you. You will unwittingly notice that which will help you to put on more weight. You do it, not consciously, right? So if you have self-talk that says, what would it take for me to be slim and happy and wholesome and feeling healthy in my body? That's what your reticular activating system will be primed for. That's what you'll notice. You need to think about the words that you use, right? So it's very interesting to me that we have this opportunity called positive prime sessions, and we have so many pieces of content on so many different subjects or topics. Alrighty. How many photographs do you need? It was a great question asked. Well, truth is, I would not do less than 50 per session. I would not do less than 50 per session. If I was you, I'd do 100 to 200 per session. If we're talking about a super mix session, I would probably do maybe 500 images. The brain needs novelty. Did you all hear that? From a neuroscience perspective, the brain needs novelty, which means you must watch new and different sessions regularly, and you must upload personal photographs regularly based upon what is recent to you, as well as maybe you get an old photograph, and if you don't have a way to scan it, even though there are apps now you can download on your phone and you can hold it over your camera and it scans the image, you can actually do that to all the old photographs in your old, what do you call it? Photo albums. They're albums. That's why I'm like, yes, I'm old enough to have had photo albums. So you can take out your old photo albums. Someone actually told me about this, that there was an app that I could download. I think it's called, I don't know, I'm sure there's hundreds of them. This one's called PhotoMyne, PhotoMyne. I downloaded the app. I don't know, I think I paid $5 for it, probably because I wanted to. I was doing my mum and dad's 50th wedding anniversary. And with Amy, we were creating this absolutely exquisite montage and a song that really celebrated 50 years of marriage for them. So I went back and found all the photographs that I could of their 50 years together. And naturally, given my parents are in the mid-70s, most of their photographs are not digital. They're actually in albums. So I had to actually go through like lots and lots and lots of albums. And I was thinking, how on earth do I get these absolutely wonderful photographs into some kind of digital format? So I used this app and I held the phone over. It had to be very still and it scanned it, and some that didn't. Anyway, my point is that lots of people say, oh, I don't have really good photos. You don't necessarily need the most recent photographs. You can have a combination. So I'm going to tell you something really interesting. In reminiscence theory, which is a new social science that actually is helping those people who are deeply forgetful, or those people who have, you know, Alzheimer's or dementia, you could use a positive prime session and upload lots of photographs for when they were vibrant, fit and healthy. So you could actually help somebody to retain some of their memories by doing this for them. So I think it was a good idea for me to do it for my parents. And my parents, of course, the minute that they see these photographs that are meaningful and significant to them, they actually have an emotional reaction. That emotional reaction causes biochemistry to change in your body. You create a new chemical cocktail, more so dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. More of these neurotransmitters are fired by these memories, particularly if they're really good memories. The same thing happens, of course, if they're really bad memories. You can actually make yourself really, really, really sick. Like the toxicity in your body can be absolutely, you know, the volume turned up if you really ruminate on distressing situations. So the more and more and more you kind of do the reminiscing about something that was really hurtful, quite frankly, in all that thinking, you create this terrible toxicity inside your own body, which causes disease. And that's been scientifically proven. So I know that there are a lot of people who have these memories that are really uncomfortable for them, right? And the reality is that it's not easy for them to think about a better future or a brighter past, because maybe they didn't have a brighter past and they keep going back and replaying like they do an old record, and they haven't learned how to scratch the record or so forth. There are hundreds of different techniques that you can use to get rid of traumatizing limiting beliefs. The point is that there is actually a theory that you don't even need to do that. You can literally do find and replace. You can literally just plant over, quite frankly, a new seed on that ground and water that new seed and give that new seed sunlight, and you can actually grow a completely new future without even going over any of your terrible past. But you usually need an interruption. Use positive prime as an interruption if that's what you want. That's what it can be for you. It can be an interruption to your limiting or damaging thought patterns or your self-talk that is harmful to you, right? Does that help? Any questions? You upload as many photographs as you like. Upload them pretty easily from the collection that you have in your computer, in your file system. That's where I do my uploading. Of course, I can log into my account via Google Chrome on my iPhone for the photographs that I've got on my iPhone. But in fact, I actually have a lot of photographs that I keep in my iCloud that I'm using from my computer. Alrighty, so questions? Any questions? Yay, go Jackie.
It seems to be, how many is too many? How many is enough for personal photographs?
I think that the ratio that I gave you of at least 50 to 1,000. So most positive prime sessions have 800 images and 200 word statements, 1,000 frames. So that is actually only 5%. 50 to 1,000 is 5%, right? In a super mix, there are 5 sessions, so there's 5,000 frames. And in that case, I would probably upload about 500 photographs. I actually have a super mix myself. So everybody for their annual birthday, their first birthday, they get something called their personal super mix as an annual member. So we can actually create for you your own super mix. So it could be Jackie's super mix. Jackie basically tells us, these are my 5 favorite sessions, and we create a super mix and we mix and merge those 5. They're combined into one experience. And then you can heavily personalize your own personal super mix. I love doing that. I love watching my super mix, and I would have, here's going to be something super scary. You can have another 5 sessions added to your personal super mix at the end of your second year. So I've actually got 10 sessions. They're in my super mix, and I have 1,000 personal photographs in that. I literally turned it on Sunday. It took a long time to load, as it would, and it played for 4 hours. 4 hours. And I used it almost like, who knows Masaru Emoto's work on the water crystals? I used it to basically change the energy of my office. I walked in and out, I was doing different things, I was working away, I would glance up at it, and I watched probably about an hour and a half of a 4-hour session with me focused on it throughout an 8-hour or 10-hour period on Sunday. That's how we create breakthroughs, extraordinary breakthroughs. So sometimes when I really want to take myself or my life or the business to the next level, it's almost like I sit there and I flood myself with my own personal super mix, and I watch as much as I possibly can of that 4-hour session. Yeah, I allow it just to flow over me. Okay, so does anybody want to ask any questions? Any questions?
I do.
Okay, woohoo.
So you upload 50 pictures, and then are those inserted in every session you watch? Like, and
Excellent question.
Can you put one in with your own words?
Excellent. Love it. Yeah. So let's just say you've got goals. So you've got your own words, right? And you write them as self-fulfilling prophecies. Does everybody know how to write something as a self-fulfilling prophecy? I gave you an example before, like, I don't want to be overweight anymore. No. The self-fulfilling prophecy is I am slim and happy and energetic and healthy. You don't want to lose weight in an unhealthy way. That's probably my own judgment around that. But I think you want to lose weight if you want to lose weight in a healthy way. Alrighty, so there is Canva. A lot of people use Canva. There are also apps, right? So if you want to create your own affirmations or your own goal statements, or your own prayers, your own gratitudes, like, I'm so grateful for, in my example, Cameron. I'll put up lots of photographs of Cameron. So you can think about how you express it so that you know. But anyway, you upload them. Yes, here's the interesting thing. You must apply them to an individual session. The reason why is because let's just say you chose all 50 images to appear in all sessions. I use this example a lot. There's a session on romance and intimacy, and lots of young parents who don't want to have more children do not put photographs of the little cherubs that they're so grateful for in the romance and intimacy session unless they want more little cherubs, right? Your other than consciousness is so powerful, so powerful. So watching romance and intimacy with photographs just of your lover, best friend, your husband is probably appropriate. Photographs of your friends in that particular session, not so cool, right? You get the idea. And so, and so not all sessions are actually personalized with all images. I'll give you another example. In a lot of the sessions that I use really to bolster me for work-related purposes, I put very specific images of goals I want to achieve. So let's just say I wanted to make $100,000. I'm very clear about why. I don't want pieces of paper or 100,000 in my bank account. Like, no. What are the experiences that I want to have with that $100,000? And what are the consequences and implications of that? Right. So let's just say I want to buy some new white goods for the house. I have been known to do this. I uploaded some photographs of some new saucepans. I know it sounds strange, but it's true. I wanted some new saucepans. I haven't bought myself new saucepans in 20 years. Anyway, it was so bizarre. I actually entered into a competition and I won a gift voucher to this place that sold new saucepans.
Perfect.
Right. Now, do I think that that would have happened if I didn't have photographs of saucepans in my Positive Prime session? No. I often think that your personal goals, when your other than consciousness sees them, I want you to imagine it's like this. It's in the gap. You planted a seed in the gap. There's no attachment there. It's fleeting. And every single time you watch that Positive Prime session, you're pouring more energy in the quantum field onto the seed that you've planted in fertile ground, and it's allowed to blossom, and it will blossom in a way that suits you. I'll tell you some of the strangest things have happened just recently. I had on my bucket list that I wanted to go to this great, very luxurious place here in Australia for a mini break. And they had a rule around you had to book a minimum of 2 nights. Now, a minimum of 2 nights made it outrageously expensive. 1 night's still expensive. Guess what happened? I went to my school reunion and I found out that one of my friends from my primary childhood days, like when we were 10 years of age, was now the head of reservations nationally for this particular, right? So guess what I got? 1 night. So she bent the rules for me so that I could actually go to this place for 1 night when everybody else on the planet has to do a minimum of 2 nights. That actually made it affordable, or no, that's stupid. It wasn't affordable, possible, right? And I allowed myself to treat myself to that. And so what I truly believe is that when you become exceptionally clear about why you want to experience something and you upload the photographs that relate to that and reinforce that, and you put them in your Positive Prime sessions and you watch them and you plant these seeds and you water them and you nurture them and you nourish them, then very strange things start to happen, otherwise known as coincidences and serendipity and synchronicity and manifestation. And now, yeah, I will tell you something pretty interesting also about Positive Prime, right? So I don't know if you know that there's, I'm just going to go out here. If I click over on this menu, it actually gets me out. I, of course, feel a little bit better, but I feel a little bit better because I'm in your company. So here in Reflection, there are all of these different pieces of content, or in Happiness, there's different pieces of content. So there's all of these. You can actually go to my gallery, and this is where you can see. Do you want me to show you something scary? I don't want to hold you to this standard. Might just show you though. It's thinking. Oh, there it goes. Okay, can you see this? Maybe I need to do this. Right.
And then you just select what images you want in the session you're watching.
Correct.
Right.
I have
And do they stay there?
9,379 images in my personal collection. Yep.
It's a high achiever.
Oh, you're too funny. You know what it is? It's somebody that understands the power of this. Honestly, it's somebody who really, truly understands the power of this. Okay, so whilst I'm here, I may as well show you if you click on stories. So I went over here and I clicked on stories. It opens up in a new tab. These are amazing stories of amazing people who share wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lessons. Now, maybe you don't already know this as well. So I definitely go listen to some of those podcasts. There's a whole area on free resources. So if you see here, there's free resources. It opens up in a new tab. These are a whole heap of short videos where I explain a lot more about what, why, when, where, how. I do teaching generally, regularly, but these are all short videos, less than 15 minutes. Most of them are only 3 minutes, 1 minute or 5 minutes. But this just gives you a little bit more background. I did a couple of workshops, and these are those workshops. So if you want to see somebody else actually present Positive Prime, Sandy Olowick did a great presentation to a group of people. This is the way that she describes Positive Prime, completely different to me, right? So that was actually in free resources. Now, before I go anywhere, I wonder if you've all been watching your Coaching Pearls. So you actually need to click on Coaching Pearls and activate it. And then every single day, a particular tiny little video does appear for you. And you can actually go and watch this. And so day 130 is actually me. And within, can you see this, 3 minutes, I share something about what happens when you share your problems. So they're your Coaching Pearls, and you have access to Coaching Pearls. This adds an extraordinary amount of value to your subscription. I want you to imagine that most of the coaches, counselors, therapists, amazing people who do these Coaching Pearls, it's not just me. So there's a beautiful Coaching Pearl here by Walter. I want you to imagine that all of these people are giving you their very best, exquisite pearls of wisdom. And they're all really valuable. If we were to add up 365 days of 3 or 5 minutes, it's actually an amazing amount of money that you would have to spend otherwise. So before I also go any further, there's an invites area. And in the invites area, you can actually go and add 4 people to your Positive Prime account. I don't know if you know this. You actually, if you are a paying annual subscriber, 4 other people could be annual subscribers. They could also upload their own personal photographs. You can share this with people in your family or clients or friends or team members or colleagues. And this means that it's really a 5-for-1 deal. Yeah, 5-for-1 deal.
Yeah.
Alrighty. The other thing I probably want to draw to your attention is a long time ago, now it feels like for me a long time ago, because you're right, I actually move at a pretty swift pace. I did an incredible course that was bringing to life the Think and Grow Rich program. I'd actually read this amazing book, new book called Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy, written by this man on the left, James Whitaker. And James Whitaker, I was introduced to by another great Positive Prime leader, Brett D. Scott. Long story short, I then decided to teach the main lessons in this book and how it relates to Positive Prime in these 7 days. So if you want to do a course on Think and Growing Rich, you can do that. There are also lots of fabulous people inside our community who give you gifts. So if you would like one of these gifts, take advantage of it. It's all there for you. That's a quick whiz around Positive Prime.
Where was that? Where was that?
Here in bonuses. Can you see on the left-hand side?
Thank
bonuses. You. Bonuses is where you get to the Think and Grow Rich content. Stories is where you find all these fabulous podcasts. I'll give you an example. This man, Aaron O'Dowd, Aaron is actually Irish. So you click on it, and I drew this to lots of people's attentions just recently, actually. This is another time I'm featuring him. So Aaron is actually vision impaired. He was born with an interesting condition. And he is on a mission to help everybody to understand that he is not disabled. We are all disabled. We actually disable ourselves. Our own conditioning, our own thoughts, our own friends, the groups of people we hang around with, in all sorts of ways we disable ourselves. However, he would actually like for all of us to focus only on how we are able. And if all we did was focus on how we are able, all of us would be happier and achieve more. Now, Aaron, interestingly enough, is a world-class triathlete. And he has people who, I don't know if you've seen vision impaired or blind people actually cycling, running and swimming in a triathlon. And in terms of the Paralympics or the Special Olympics, as they used to be called, you've all seen people overcome extraordinary obstacles. Aaron is one of those people. He actually rowed, R-O-W-E-D, in a boat, with oars. He rowed for Ireland, right, at national level. Extraordinary human being. This is his story. I think you'd love it. And interestingly enough, there's a couple of little short videos, and then there's the full interview with him. So you can go and learn about Aaron. He has his own podcast. He interviews other incredible people who've overcome lots of tragedies. One of the things about Aaron is Aaron actually has his own peak performance super mix. This is it. So if you want to watch Aaron's super mix, what is remarkable about this, let me just quickly share my computer sound. Can you hear this?
Yeah, bowls. Gongs.
Yeah. So Aaron has his own session because he's a positive prime professional leader. And he got one of the world's most amazing sound engineers that does healing music for people like Beyonce, right? And all sorts of other superstar celebrities and so forth. And this is his commissioned piece of music for his session. He organized this for himself. It's not publicly available except via him sharing his story on this page. Amazing, huh?
It's quite a vibe.
So there you go. I'll put the link, shall I, in the chat.
Jim, while you're typing, just want people to know that within the Positive Prime community, there's quantum sound healing exists. And Mark Romero has a session called Healing and Harmony that you can access.
Yes.
Yes. And he wrote the music and performed the music for that. And he also trained me in my own voice and belief around quantum sound. So if you can watch Healing and Harmony within the Positive Prime, oh my God, do it, because your sound, like Aaron's sound and what Kim just shared from Aaron Dowd, what if you had a sound, you had a tone that when the world heard it, the world harmonized with it. And then they harmonized with your message. So I just want to say, hey, Kim, I came tonight because my team said, Jackie, can Kim give you a pause button so that you're not creating more things before we launch the one that you created last week? And so I was here for the pause. And I just want to thank you because this was a great pause for me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Do you know, there's actually also a session from executive coach Laura Scott on the power of pausing. It's a great session. So I would definitely go and watch the pause session by Laura Scott. Okie dokie. So let me, well, actually I'll screen share for you so that you can see. Usually this session is about half an hour. I've gone over today. I hope that it's been useful for you. So here's the session by Laura Scott on pausing. There's a lot of really great science actually on mastering pausing for leaders. Really great research that's been done. Some fine business schools have been talking about pausing. And then to your point earlier, Jackie, this is Mark Romero's session. So healing and harmony. I had Mark actually come and present, and he ran a workshop at a Positive Prime conference that we had a couple of years ago in Carlsbad. Can you all hear that? So much is on offer here via Positive Prime, and so much more is being added over the next couple of weeks and months. I'm super excited about what's going on in the background. I really am truly super excited. And so for those of you, I just want you to know that there's going to be a special positivity festival in May next year in Orlando. And so if you want to come and play with all of us, have some fun, go on some wild adventures, do some amazing experiences. It's all grounded in positive psychology and neuroscience. And interestingly enough, we haven't actually decided on the dates nor the venue yet, but we do know it's Orlando, May 2023 for a positivity festival. For those of you who don't know, we actually also have a higher level program called the Positivity Club, and you can go and have a look at the Positivity Club if that interests you. I know that we've got lots of people who are looking and who are about to join, and I'll give you a little sneak preview. Right at this very moment, for our early birds, we have this opportunity for you to join the Positivity Club. And I want to say, I'll give you an example. Let's go and screen share here for you. Just before we run away, I've got about a couple of minutes left before my next meeting. And so I want you to imagine this. You're a Positive Prime subscriber, an annual subscriber, and then you come and join the actual level 1 gratitude, or maybe it's the level 3 hope, and you join at the $1,000 level. Now, you're actually going to receive a ticket to the Positivity Festival. That is part of what you actually receive, but see how you actually get 19,400 tokens. We are going to be introducing a token economy to Positive Prime and a positive marketplace, and you're going to be able to use those tokens. But what it means is right now we're gifting you enough tokens. It's as if you paid 5 cents for them. No, you're not buying tokens, but you will have received 19,400 tokens, which is basically the equivalent of perceiving them at 5 cents. However, right, they're actually arguably $1, or maybe even more as we go to a centralized exchange, which is our intention over the next 2 years. So that means that in the Positive Prime marketplace, you'll actually be able to see that you can do some courses, or you can have some coaching sessions with somebody. So let's just say at the moment, I pay $60 for my chiropractor for 15 minutes. I could use 60 positivity tokens and pay my chiropractor in positivity tokens if my chiropractor accepts them. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. And we will start to see all of this unfold by Christmas this year. And it's going to be really, really, really amazing. And so now is the only time you can join where you can receive an enormous number of tokens that you'll be able to use in that marketplace, which means it's phenomenal, beyond incredible value. Like, it's just, whew. And so we're doing this, of course, because we want to create momentum and energy, and we want to have everybody who's a positive primer now and over the next 6 months be richly rewarded. And the 20 for 1, i.e. the number of tokens you get at each one of these levels, and we do have somebody who has actually just committed to the $100,000 level. I know, wow, yeah. So we definitely have people who are joining the club. There's a lot that you can go and learn about tokens and token economies and our story. You can read it here. What is it? It's built on something called reflection technology. You can learn what and why and how. If you want guidance on this, see Positivity Festival in May 2023. Marketplace, gamification. There's all sorts of little things happening inside the Positive Prime world. So you can go and have a little positivity club if it appeals to you. That's it. I'm back this time next week. See you then. Let's hope you've got an awesome question for me. Love you very much. All right.
Thank
bye.
you.
Pleasure. Ciao.